Hi, welcome to AFTV. I've got Turkish with me. We've just beaten FC Zurich at home 1-0. A game, I said this to Charlene, we expected it to be probably a higher scoring game, but it wasn't. But at least what really matters, and the only thing that matters though, Turkish, is we got the job done, which you mentioned in the preview.
Yeah, that's it, man. Job done. I haven't really got much to say about the game. It wasn't the best performance again, but Europa League haven't been our best performances this season.
Is there any concerns, Turkish, though, the fact that, I said this against PSV, he brought on a lot of the main starters in the Premier League. We lost, obviously, in the end against PSV. But today, he then brought on, again, a lot of the first team players. And we didn't really see much of a difference in the performance. Is it a bit of a concern? Is it showing that we do need to strengthen in January? Or is it showing that, I'm not going to say the players aren't up for it because we're currently sitting top of the Premier League. But is there a concern there?
Nah, because I've seen enough from our starting 11 in the Premier League to say there's no concern in terms of the amount of rotation we did for these group games. I don't expect to have the same number of rotation moving into the knockout rounds. So we might see this sort of team again in terms of rotation in the League Cup against Brighton next week. That's cool. The League Cup, it is what it is. I don't really care too much. Yeah. In terms of Europa League, now we're through. We go straight into the last 16, if I'm not mistaken.
I believe so.
From there, it's, the big guns come out, especially considering who you might play and some of the Champions League teams that have been knocked down into the Europa League. So I'm not too concerned because it's such a heavily rotated side in the Europa League that they just haven't been able to kind of find their consistency and kind of match the first 11 in the Premier League in terms of form and performance level. So it is what it is. I would have hoped more players knocked on the door in the Europa League, but I don't think they did. I think when you look at the first start of the season, Reece Nelson against Forest is probably the first fringe player that's really knocked on the door in terms of not starting a Premier League game, but now we look to him on the bench to maybe come on and make some sort of impact. Aside from that, you're right. A lot of these games where we've made changes in, it hasn't really changed the flow of the game. It hasn't really helped. And in the first five, we got away with it. In this one, with Tomiyasu walking off injured, I hope it's nothing too concerning or too major. Obviously, he's got a World Cup as well on the horizon. So that's the only downside for me today. It was just about getting the job done today and finishing top of the group.
100%. I'm going to ask you a question as a fan. Now, I know you can't look into the future, but you just said that we're going to the round of 16 now. You see some of the big clubs out of the Champions League dropping into the Europa League. You've seen, we've struggled against, it really is only PSV, but where do you see Arsenal going in this Europa League competition? Do you see them potentially going all the way, getting into the finals and whatnot? I know we are looking way ahead, but there's been enough signs to say injuries, there's a World Cup in between this, the fixture schedule. Do we have the quality in there? Will January be a big effect to the, our cup charge?
We have the quality to win the tournament, that's for sure. Even with the Champions League sides knocked down, I know you've got the Sevillas and Ajaxes in there. Listen, they are good teams, but I'm not too worried. And Barcelona and Juventus, it's not the Barcelona and Juventus that, we've come to know over the years. They're very much in a transition or at a low point. So I even look at the Champions League, knockouts, and I say to myself, I still think we should, at least go to the semi-finals, if not final, and win it. Cool. Obviously, it comes down to fingers crossed our players remaining fit, remaining healthy, because there are some positions where depth is a concern. Yeah. But until that concern becomes an issue by way of injuries, I'm not going to dwell on it. I'm going to hope for the best, like I've been saying this whole, start of the season. Hope for the best. Hopefully injuries don't catch up with us, fatigue and all that, moving into the second half of the season after the World Cup. And just, keep it moving. I think January is interesting. Last January, we know we needed some, some people in to kind of sustain the top four challenge and maybe get over the line with it. This one here, we've done so well at the start of the season that we could potentially go through January without bringing anyone in and still finish top four. But it depends on what the owners and the board see. If the opportunity is there to win the league, then they might want to take it. As fans, listen, if the opportunity is there, we'd take it all day, every 100%. Day. I just have my doubts with this ownership. I'd like to see them change maybe their ways. With Wenger, we used to finish top four. We used to have, periods where I think even that year we needed a striker in January. We brought in Kim Kallstrom. The owners never really showed that ambition to kick on and take it over to the next level. I'm hoping now with Mikel, their guy as well, who they've supported, they do kind of, push through, keep on building, keep on developing, and not rest on their laurels, because you have to.
Yeah, I feel like after last season as well, I think they trust Arteta enough to hopefully strengthen in January. I think it'll be very clear that they should do that. Just quickly, realistically, expectations then for this Europa League competition, semi-finals minimum or finals, quarters, win?
Expectation, I want to win it.
Yeah.
I want to win it. But it's a knockout competition, and knockout competitions, you never know. The league is the best indicator of where your team's at. And so far in the league, we've shown that we are a top team again. We found consistency. It's just in Europe, knockout football, we've seen giants go out to minnows before.
Yeah.
So we can't, expect it, but I want to win it.
Okay, fair enough. And then just to round off, you know how much of a big fan you are of Kieran Tierney. Got a great goal today. Just a word on Kieran Tierney and how much he'll do for him. I said at the start of the match day live, this is a chance for players to show that, that they probably won't play again on Sunday against Chelsea. They probably won't start, but they've got an opportunity to remind us how good they are.
Yeah, you can see how much it meant to him when he scored as well. He was gassed.
Yeah, he was.
It was like a relief for him. I think, was it against Bodo? He had that shot that rattled off the post and Eddie kind of tapped it in. He was unlucky there. I know we got the goal out of it in the end, but, I love Tierney. Yeah. I just love it, everything about him, character-wise, off the pitch, the way he carries himself. I thought he was ideal for captain. It's just injuries let him down in that department. Hopefully the injuries are behind him. Hopefully. We have got depth in that position now, so we can protect them a bit more. But Tierney's my guy. But that's not to say Zinchenko and Tomiyasu are not my guys. I like them too.
Yeah.
And I've liked the look of them in the left-back position as well. It's a welcome problem to be talking about. In years gone by, if Tierney got injured, it was Kolasinac. That I'd much rather have these debates now than have those debates then. So we keep it moving, Tierney. I hope to see him in the starting 11 again in the Premier League, but as long as we keep winning games, I couldn't care less.
Shop for AFTV merch at shop.aftv.co.uk. Subscribe to us on YouTube. Follow us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, Snapchat, and Twitch. We've got content for every platform, so check it out.